If you have been around cars for any amount of time, you've definitely heard the adage, there's no replacement for displacement. And while that is very much true, to an extent, the drive for ever increasing efficiency and all the advancements in material science has really changed the way automakers have approached their thought process on how to increase power output in modern engine design. Turbocharging has revolutionized how we think about engine performance and efficiency. And today, we're diving in one of the more advanced designs out there, the TwinScroll turbocharger. What makes it special? Well, stay with me on this edition of Around the Wheel to find out. The idea of turbocharging an engine has really been around since the late 1800s. Forced induction as we know it, though, really got its foothold in the world of aviation during World War II. Aircraft like the B-17 Flying Fortress, well, they were tasked with getting 10 guys and 10,000 pounds of bombs 5 miles up into the air, requiring them to turn to forced induction in order to accomplish this goal. From there, forced induction applications primarily have been thought of in the realms of performance vehicles. When you utter a word like turbocharge, many people get visions of the Buick Grand Nationals, or Mark III Supras, or even a 4th gen old LS F-body with an aftermarket turbo kit spooled up and bouncing off a two-step. But as the quest for higher fuel economy and lower carbon footprints, more and more OEs have turned to turbocharging, especially in order to make up for smaller displacement power plants. Turbochargers, well, they're exhaust-driven compressors that increase intake air pressure, enhancing power output. When the engine exhaust gases exit the combustion chamber, they flow through a turbine housing, spinning a turbine wheel at very high speeds. This turbine, well, it's connected via a shaft to a compressor on the intake side. As the turbine spins, it drives the compressor, which compresses, fresh air and forces it into the engine's intake manifold. This additional oxygen allows for greater fuel burn, generating more power per combustion cycle. The drawback to this process is throttle response due to the time it takes for the turbo to spool up and compress that charge. Turbo lag, as it is often referred to, is due to a couple of different factors. The first is the way exhaust dynamics work. Exhaust gases don't flow in a smooth and linear pattern. They pulse as they flow out of the exhaust manifold in rhythm with the engine's firing order, and it varies in length by engine RPM. As soon as the cylinder finishes purging its exhaust gases, as its exhaust valve closes, another cylinder's exhaust valve is opening. You can often see these pulses on a cold morning before the engine and exhaust have had a chance to warm up. Those are the little white puffs of the exhaust rolling out of the tailpipe at idle. On a factory single log unequal length turbo manifold, this inconsistency in pulses and pressure causes interference between the cylinder's exhaust gas and slows down the exhaust moving over the turbine. This slower spinning of the turbine, in turn, adds more pressure to the manifold and further interferes with exhaust flow and cylinder scavenging, and it can even lead to exhaust reversion. A second contributing factor to turbo lag is the size of the charger itself. Larger turbochargers are capable of producing more boost, obviously, but in turn it takes more exhaust pressure to spool up. To combat this, automakers have taken a few approaches in the past. The first, well, is to simply use just a smaller turbocharger. A smaller turbine will spool the compressor faster, providing better response, but in turn is going to limit the power on the top end. As technology has increased through the latter part of last century, automakers started implementing twin turbo technology in order to split the exhaust flow and allow better boost to come on quicker in a more direct and linear fashion. The downside of this, well, is cost. Just like the name implies, with a twin turbo setup, you need two of everything. 2 turbos, 2 exhaust manifolds, 2 wastegates, 2 intercoolers, etc., etc. Then you need to fit all that crap in the engine bay, adding clutter and complexity as well as additional weight. So as design technology and engineering has evolved, automakers have implemented another approach to being able to run a larger turbo, but with less spool time. This is where TwinScroll technology comes in. Unlike single scroll designs, this turbo utilizes two separate exhaust channels, or scrolls, to optimize the flow of exhaust gas. By pairing specific cylinders with each scroll, it ensures that the exhaust pulses don't interfere with one another. This design improves energy delivery, making the turbo spool faster and more efficiently across a wide range of engine RPM. Also allowing exhaust pulses to be timed like a parallel twin turbo car, reducing flow interference while still only using one turbo. These twin scrolls also allow for faster spool because how they're routed in the turbine's housing. Oftentimes, one channel is directed through a smaller port, but that smaller port increases velocity deeper into the turbine's blades, allowing for a faster spool up. The second channel utilizes a larger port, and its flow is directly towards the outer portion of the turbine's blades, allowing for more turbine RPM directly proportional to engine speed, up to a certain point. There does come a time where the scavenging effects of the twin scroll loses its value. But for low and medium RPM operation, what you see on the street, the virtues of a twin scroll design, they really shine. The design benefits of a twin scroll turbocharger do not end at low and medium RPM performance. With greater scavenging, the twin scroll design, and in turn its higher volumetric efficiency, higher ignition delay can be used, which helps keep cylinder temps down. That decrease in cylinder temps and lower EGT allow for leaner air-fuel ratios. Twin scroll designs allow for increased turbine efficiency by close to 10%, and fuel mileage, well, the increases almost mirror that. Like any vehicle with forced induction, the system will add an additional layer of complexity when going to diagnose drivability concerns. Regardless of the path of the exhaust gases used to drive that turbine, the basic system layout of a twin scroll turbocharger setup, it differs very little from a traditional single exhaust inlet design. Exhaust gas, it still turns that turbine, which is connected via the shaft to the compressor wheel on the intake side. That compressor wheel is taking outside air, like we said earlier, compressing it, and then typically driving it through a charge air cooler and then into the throttle body. While the system is very basic in layout, there are several complexities that a technician needs to be aware of when diagnosing drivability complaints and DTCs on a turbo vehicle. The first and biggest is boost loss. Whether the turbo isn't spooling because of a failed turbine, failed compressor wheel, maybe a seized bearing or a seized shaft, a faulty wastegate, faulty bypass or blow-off valve, or just a cold side leak, boost loss generally is immediately noticed by the driver of the vehicle. Often, this is accompanied by a DTC, such as a P0299, which indicates turbocharger, supercharger under boost condition. Loss of boost pressure obviously will be significantly decreasing engine power output. Often, things like cracked piping on coolers, or maybe cracked piping on an inlet from excessive engine rocking due to a damaged mount, or deteriorated couplers due to age and the environment that they live in, or even a previous repair not performed correctly, will be the root of the issue. Having a firm understanding of scan tool data PIDs like absolute load versus calculated load, and the ability to apply high pressure smoke to the cold side of the system will be extremely helpful in diagnosing boost loss on the cold side. Another common failure in turbocharged vehicles, regardless of single or twin scroll, is the wastegate on the system. A turbocharger wastegate is simply a valve that diverts exhaust gas away from that turbine wheel, which slows it down, thus slowing the compressor wheel down and controlling the amount of boost the engine sees. Wastegates are either internal, bypassing the turbine and then dumping the exhaust back into the downpipe flow to go into the converter, or as you see on many performance applications, a divorce setup. The divorce setup will dump the exhaust externally through a separate outlet. Often that's the small pipe you see next to the main exhaust dump, especially on a performance application with a through fender exhaust. Regardless of design, the wastegate needs to get signal telling it when to dump in order to control that amount of boost being forced into the intake. The simplest designs use just a signal line coming from somewhere on the cold side of the system, like the charge air cooler. They run a line from there into the wastegate that pushes against a spring with a diaphragm, and it opens when it sees a certain amount of pressure. A lot of modern OEM designs, such as found in the Ford EcoBoost, well, they'll use a turbocharged wastegate regulating valve solenoid in order to allow the ECM to control the turbocharger wastegate position. Failure for the ECM to receive what it believes to be accurate information from any input in that system will cause it typically to result to a default state, which very well can cause an underboost condition as well as a DTC. As with anything, before failure diagnostics begin, consulting a service manual for a clear understanding of system operation will save the technician considerable time and needless headaches. And just like any system, mechanical failure is always a possibility. Wastegates, especially internally gated ones, well, they live in a very harsh environment. They are continuously exposed to extremely high EGT, and seized valves and cracked seats are a common failure occurrence. Having a borescope camera available to inspect these areas makes the diagnostic process a lot quicker and less intrusive for the technician. So as you see, TwinScroll turbochargers, just like any other setup, are a step in evolution in the power adder technology. While not revolutionary in design, it is important to understand what they are as a technician to have a clear understanding of how that system works. Because without the basic understanding, your ability to diagnose failures in the system are going to be impaired. So thank you for joining me. I hope you gained just a little bit of understanding on what a TwinScroll system is. In an upcoming episode of The Trainer, Motor Age technical editor Brandon Steckler, he's going to be diving deeper onto the technical side with some forced induction diagnostics. So make sure to watch out for that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them below, and I will do my best to get to them. But until next time, thank you for watching.